Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a late night weekly review. My name is Mike Larkin, and joining me, as always, by my side is the dead man of RWT Raw Wrestling Talk, the one, the only, Mr. Paul Morales. How are you, Paul?
What's up, my brother? Happy Friday. Happy Hall of Fame Friday. Happy WrestleMania Eve. I know we're kind of doing this kind of late, and it's late on your end, but hey, you know what? I'm blessed that you actually stayed up and took a shower, washed your balls, and decided, like, hey, you know what? I want to jump on with my homie.
Of course. No, well, if there's anything, as we're recording this, folks, it's the end of the Hall of Fame. And I will say this, what an amazing show. We'll talk about some of our favorite speeches before we talk about the Mania card in itself. But I'm going to say this right now. A lot of people have been saying it online. Thunderbolt Patterson, yes, he went the sermon route. It reminded me very Mr. T-esque of him loving his mama. But I loved it. I
Dude, you threw it out there before I did, because I was just going to say that too. What came to my... See, Unagi, great minds think alike. I'm telling you. Dude, he went out there. I like that the other dude that was there with him, he I don't even know his name. They just said it said Thunderbolt Patterson, but it didn't even give the guy's name, and I don't even know if they
it was something Spears. It was something Spears. I forgot his
Yeah, okay, but dude gave a really great introduction to him. Nothing more than what was already said in the promo package, with the New Day out there. Oh my god. I love seeing Big E out there, man. That was just a blessing in itself. The fact that he got to go out there and they were there, and he's such a trailblazer. I know that term is used a lot, but he was, and you could see over the years, and who has taken his little mannerisms from Dusty Rhodes to Road Dogg to Booker T to the New Day doing their dances in the ring, and something he used to do too.
Old strut, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it was great, dude. I got to go to church.
Right after listening to that, I wanted to go down the street to the beach church and start praying and singing and doing the sermons here in Myrtle Beach.
I wanted to hit San Fernando Church, even though I know it. The first sermon is not till 7 a.m. my time, so I was gonna try and get it in before Stand and Deliver. So I got to go to bed. Okay, I got to go. Bye. No, I'm just joking.
But no, it's the thing too, because I'm like, wait a minute. When he's like, "Do you mind if I pray for a moment?" I'm like, okay.
Oh, that was. I was like, yes, sir, you have every right to do what you was gonna do. Back to Mr. T and talking about his mama and talking about the love of his mama, but that's what it took me back to, and we were here when we were thinking the exact same thing, man.
Yeah, but no, that's the thing. As soon as he said, I'm like, okay, he's gonna thank God, and then he's gonna talk about his career. I mean, he did mention Gerald Briscoe. We saw them hug and all that was cool, but I'm like, oh my God, he's really going to like a full sermon right now. And I'm like, okay, go ahead, man. Do it. Let it ride. Let it ride.
Dude, we didn't even know we were going to church at the Hall of Fame. So we was all there. Praise Jesus. You know what? We got it. We got our sermon in for the weekend. Now we're WrestleMania ready.
Yep. Hallelujah and amen.
Hallelujah.
And hallelujah. And I will say this about the Hall of Fame. We'll just go into Muhammad Ali right now. First of all, his wife gave a nice little passion speech. Then The Rock, that People's Championship belt. Oh my goodness.
That was awesome. That was a beautiful belt, that she bestowed on him. And especially with that Brahma bull sitting right in the front. It was beautiful, man. I mean, I thought it was great. I don't know if Roman's a little jealous because that belt looked better than his.
Mm-hmm. But this when you have Rocky Johnson.
Sorry. Oh, hold on. Go ahead.
Okay.
I was throwing up my one, looking like a loser. I'm
a loser, baby, so why don't you kill me? No, with a shape of an L on her forehead, you are an all-star, Paul Morales. Anyway,
thank you.
You're welcome. But no, dude, like the Soul Man, Rocky Johnson, and talking about the sparring that they used to do, and like I loved how it tied it all together. It was nice. It was a great way to honor the late, great Muhammad Ali. The Undertaker got to say the infamous line, which was awesome. Like, that was great.
Blow like a butterfly, sting like a bee. You know what? Hey, that was beautiful, man. Again, back to something I had said before we jumped on. My daughter came running out of the room, and she's all like, I hear him. You hear the dong? And I was like, yeah. And she comes out and she sits next to me and she's just like it's your guy. It's your guy. I'm like, yeah, that's my guy.
Now we had
That
no
that's
idea.
my namesake. That's my
Yes, sir.
namesake right there.
Sir.
Right
I see
there.
you.
Right
Right.
there. Dead man of RWT. You see it. You see it. You know who I am.
I see you. But no, here's the thing. A lot of us were not expecting to see The Undertaker because we had no idea who was inducting Muhammad Ali. But it worked. It fit.
Yeah, I honestly thought it might have been Layla.
Same.
I really did. I honestly thought it probably would have either been Layla or her son that kind of similarities to him.
Mhm.
That kind of looks like Muhammad Ali. So that's who I thought was gonna induct him, but it was crazy to see his wife. I swear to you, I thought she had passed away already. I honestly did, and I don't mean any disrespect.
No, I know. Me too.
I had thought that she had passed away like a few years after he did, but apparently it was somebody else that I guess that knew him or was close to him. So my bad. But it was beautiful to see his beautiful wife out there presenting the belt to The Rock, calling him out from the audience, and he was kind of like shocked, like, "What am I coming up here for?"
But speaking of why am I coming up here, but also she knows why she's coming up here. You want to talk about beautiful. Bull Nakano. Oh my
Oh
goodness.
my goodness! What did I say? I said that she said that she started at 26 in WWE in 1994.
Yep.
My boy, she fucking 56 years old and fucking gorgeous. And I mean gorgeous.
Yes. And a
And then
lot
she talked about wanting to get back in the ring. She said, "You're going to see me in the WWE ring again." And I'm like,
put her with Asuka, Kairi
put
Sane.
her with Asuka and Kyrie. Believe me, that would be off the chain.
Think of it like when we got the Kabuki Warriors with Paige, but having Bull Nakano with her this time. Like, I'm here for it.
Okay, but imagine they go to, dare I say it, say they go to All Star, Japan, and they do a show there with her, they're with them. Even if she doesn't do a lot with them, she's there with them. It would be amazing to go to All Japan. I meant All Star. I said All Star, but it was All Japan, to go there and do something with them. The rumor is Rossi wants to try the NXT Japan. So,
I mean, Julia and the owner of Stardom were backstage at SmackDown, so we might be seeing Julia maybe in the crowd like we used to see maybe at NXT later on today.
yeah, stand and deliver later on today. You know what I'm saying? Hey,
I feel
we
you.
may get that. We may get that surprise, but I ain't trying to gossip about it. By the way, that card has just increased by 2 matches, and I don't know how they're going to fit 7 matches, almost 8 matches into that 3 hours. But I know I will have to believe in Sean. 3.5 hours, however long it's going to be. Sean, I have to believe in Sean that he's going to put on a great show with these guys, and I know he's probably going to give Trick and Carmelo that nice little 20 minutes at least.
And I think the 6-woman tag that they announced will probably be on the kickoff at 11.
I was thinking that too. I was really honestly thinking that too.
But like again, we talk about this weekend, and I mean, we mentioned Alundra Blaze, her great speech, Bull Nakano, The Undertaker. I think one that everybody's been talking about, and we'll go here, and then we'll go to the other two. Paul Heyman. That Roman Reigns' speech was amazing. The tribal chief talking about his wise men and the Samoan family and the heritage, how much he means to the family. And then here comes Paul Heyman with the Extreme Championship Wrestling. Like ECW, Paul Heyman is in the house. Like, dude, it was such a
RVD. The whole effing show. Mr. Monday Night was there. That was good. I love that. Tommy Dreamer, I was kind of hoping, leaning on as to inducting him, because I think him and Paul have a very, very tight, long, very, very
a long relationship.
Trouble relationship. Yeah. Kind of hard in some points. And if you watch the what was it? They were talking about the ECW days. That was on.
That was on the network when they were talking about the ECW, and then he made Paul Heyman cry when he was talking about.
Yeah, he was like, "I hated you, but I loved you." But and he had Taz, he had
Corey Graves.
Bully Ray, you know, or Bubba Ray. You know, that was a great show. Go back and watch it if it's on Peacock or if it's on wherever you're at. And I know some of you guys across the pond actually have the WWE network, which is still going on, but here in the States we got Peacock, so
Yeah, that's how.
anyways, but
But
I thought that was really, really good. I liked it. I liked Paul, everything that Paul said, everything that he talked about. I liked Joe more than Roman because Roman acknowledged himself as Joe when he said that he had leukemia and you know Paul Heyman coming to him and talking to him, telling him, "You don't need me." Or you don't need me. You just need to figure yourself out. And what did he do? He figured himself out.
I thought that was beautiful, the nice tie in there. And like you mentioned, with the besides in the crowd folks, besides RVD and Tommy Dreamer, we had all three of the Dudleys, Bubba, Devon, and Spike, and Al Snow was sitting right along with them.
Al Snow, I saw that too. I saw that when they went when they kind of panned around, and I was like, "Hey, look, I know that guy." But that was really, really good. I mean, he had a lot of good support, and he was talking about RVD and talking about when he needed his speech, and then he said his son was, and I was like, wow, we went there. That was funny, cool, and very much not Vince McMahon.
Well,
And
yeah,
and what was even better was Paul giving Triple H his flowers.
yeah, I love that.
Tell me that didn't get you here.
Oh, it got me. He's like, I will forever be a Triple H guy. I mean, the funny part was hey, Stephanie, you married the wrong Paul, which I thought was,
That's right. She married the wrong Paul.
yes. Well, did you like the
By the
hat?
way, I know it says Dead Man of RWT, but my name is Paul Morales. He says it every time. So you know who I am. She married the wrong Paul.
Right? Hey, but no, dude, did you like the fact that Stephanie had the cap on like the Alliance days?
ECW.
Yep.
Man, that was beautiful, man. I love it that she represented. I love it that she was there. I love that she was actually in the front row next to Paul. Not me, not him, but Levesque. Um, that she was there and it was them supporting Paul because they know how much Paul means to them. And like I said, him giving him giving Paul his flowers,
Mhm.
you know, and that was beautiful. And that this whole class was the very, very first under Paul Levesque.
And that's what I love too. Like you talk about pulling at the heartstrings, like he'll forever indebted to being a Paul Levesque guy. And what I also do enjoy about it too is like he did the ECW stuff. If you know they could suck my fucking dick, which they bleeped out, but you know he said it when you talk about ECW and the bankruptcy and try to cancel me. I've been canceled over 100 times. He Willie rent Raw. I love the fact that he pulled out the old telephone. He's like, holy shit, this is a real one. Like he brought
I thought I busted over the head of
Sting.
who was it?
Sting.
Yeah, Sting at over in WCW when was it Barry Windham won the United States title, and I was like, wow, that was a long time ago.
Yep, he went Paulie dangerously. He went Paul Heyman ECW. He gave no fucks. He was real, and that was what we would get out of a Paul Heyman. Like for
And
those who have not seen
that was really beautiful though.
yeah,
A
it
speech
was.
beginning to end.
And speaking of beautiful speeches, we also had one, and Paul texted me this and messaged me right before it came on. He goes, dude, I'm about to get choked up right now. And well, we saw the U.S. Express Mike Rotunda and Barry Windham being inducted by Taylor and Micah. And Taylor Rotunda got me, Bo, you got me with this. You know, Windham may not be here with us right now, but trust me, he's here. And I'm like, oh, like right here, dude. Right
Dude,
here.
I'm already getting teared up. I swear, I'm fucking getting teared up right now.
Oh, it was a beautiful speech and a nice tribute at the end to Wyndham Rotunda, the late great Bray Wyatt. Go back and watch Become Immortal.
Yeah, I was talking to fucking EJ Williams, which is
Yep.
Amir's cousin. We were talking about because he said that he just started watching it and he was about 15 minutes in, and then he texts me and he's like, bro, I'm already there. I'm already like starting to feel it. I said, oh, bro, Get ready for the roller coaster ride. I'll even show you the text. I told him wait for the roller coaster ride. I said because wait that last 30 minutes.
Hmm.
I go is gonna tear you apart. And I said it before when I said that I watched it, and it reminded me of my brother when he passed away, and what my family went through and the emotions. My grandfather found my brother, and everything that we had all I went through as a family, and I felt everything that was in this documentary. And it was great to see the fireflies at the end of the show, and I had mine up too, so I was there with everybody else.
I think for me, it was great to hear Barry and Mike talk about not just family and just them going and being brought up, but I think the fact that it's rightfully so because of WrestleMania, but also at the same time, Mike and Barry, respectively, and as a tandem, were great and just definitely deserved it. And I think it was great that they paid tribute. And I'm going to say this since you brought up the documentary we are talking about here in this forum, but man, I want to see at the end that we saw that spoiler. Uncle Howdy living on the lineage, the legacy, continuing it on with the Bray Wyatt, with the Lantern. I want to see Uncle Howdy come back very, very soon.
I want to see if in the documentary you get to see that his best friend who was helping him with his costumes for the Fiend,
Mhm.
the final one that he did. I love the fact that he still had a lot of the things. And a matter of fact, it was at WWE World this weekend, this whole week, and it's going to be there tomorrow, and it's going to be there on Sunday. That they showed everything from the Firefly Funhouse, Huskus, the
The big
Sister Abigail. They showed the buzzards. They showed everything that was in there. They showed the displays, everything that was done through their the match with John Cena, the Firefly Funhouse match that they had. So it was beautiful. And you're in Philly and you're there and you see this, go. If you haven't gone, I mean, I think there is a virtual tour. I think you could take, but it's just going through it. I mean, I think it would be better off in person. So I hope wherever it goes, I guess in the future, I hope WWE anytime they have a WrestleMania that they've showcased this, because I would really love it to be somewhere closer to me to where I don't have to travel so far. But not that I wouldn't travel, but
No, I feel you. And I think what's great about this weekend, too, especially with the Hall of Fame, now that it's after SmackDown every year now, I mean, it gave us these amazing speeches. And to close it out was very fitting. Inducting The Rock's grandmother was The Rock came out and did a speech for his grandmother. And I got to say, I enjoyed it. It gave us the feel of the Samoan heritage, but also the big tie-in was he said Cody Rhodes, tomorrow night. It's not business, it's personal. And we got a little bit into it. I like how they tied that in where he was talking about his heroes, but it was a great way to send the fans home happy. It was a great way to present The Rock's grandmother for what she did as a trailblazer in her own right. But I thought that was a nice way to close it.
yeah, it was beautiful, and it was a good way to kind of transition as we do segue into the next thing that we're going to talk about, which is
WrestleMania.
which is Monday night. Oh my God, night one of WrestleMania. Sorry, my bad. You know what? I'm gonna go to bed. You know what? That's it. I'm out of here.
It's
No,
okay.
no, but we're gonna talk about night one. That one. We'll
That
start
one.
with there.
We'll start here. Now, the graphic on here, well, it's going to be different now because, well, as we saw on SmackDown tonight, Dragon Lee was attacked in the back. And, well, Rey Mysterio now has a new partner, as it will be Rey Mysterio and Andrade against Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio. Dominic trying to get him in the Judgment Day. Nope. And, well, as we saw tonight, that kind of picks a good depiction of what we're going to get within this tomorrow night. Carlito comes in and says, hey, Dragon Lee got hurt. And he's like, well, Carlito, Andrade's going to do it. And he's like, oh, yeah, let's go. We'll kick some ass. Carlito heel turn is coming, exactly like we saw with Santos. I'm going to go Dominic and Santos gets the win. Dominic pins Ray to avenge last year's loss. What are your thoughts, Paul? Go ahead, man.
I think this is interesting, and if there is a plan for Ray to retire, who would you want him to retire against? That's just me though, because like I look at it, and if he's if his intention is to retire, does he go for against Dom again, or does he go another calendar year with another WrestleMania 41? I don't know. I'm trying to figure out this timeline for Ray to retire. But if this is the one where he goes out, who takes over the LWO?
Man, you could also, if you want to springboard from this, a Rey Mysterio Carlito feud would be very cool. I think these guys haven't wrestled each other in WWE since, gosh, like 2004, 2005. So, I mean,
Yeah, somewhere
they,
around there.
they've come a long way. So, I would like to see this transition to a Carlito Ray thing. And then you can have Carlito be the new leader of the LWO and have like a heel thing with Zelina and all them. So, there's many different possibilities that they can go with this.
Yeah, but you also have Santos Escobar that's wanting to do this and they're a heel team. So
That's the
how
thing.
many more Latinos do you bring into this that you didn't have before? So I mean, there's gonna be people trying to take sides. So
That's the thing too. You have a great split, if you will, for the LWO and Legado del Fantasma. So I'm curious to see where they go, but I think definitely for me personally, I think the great way to tell the story of Dominic and Ray is Dominic to get that pinfall back on Ray. And I'm really looking forward to that tag match. Like I said, each and every one of these bouts that we're going to talk about here has a lot of story into it, including this one as we get into the 6-woman tag that has been announced. It is Bianca Belair, it is Naomi, and the debut on WrestleMania of Jade Cargill against Damage Control. And oh my God, pop-up power bombs, friggin' Jaded, everything that this woman has done. She has looked like such a star coming in, especially tonight with the Cowgirl Hounds. Oh my goodness.
it was very, very different from what we're used to. And I think Paul touched on this in his speech that there's so much creative juices flowing backstage through not just it being a Vince thing to Vince changing his mind constantly, to where Paul is actually allowing these women to come in and work with him, work with the creative team and try and figure out something that works for everybody. And I think this is a good step for Jade to be in WrestleMania, to finally get her feet wet. But I still think it's going to be one of those hot tag to her. She's going to come in, overpower everybody. But I still think it's Bianca that's probably going to get the win.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to kind of look at it like that. But I mean, it lets Jade shine.
Yeah, for me, dude, it's a thing too. Like you mentioned, of Jade shining, getting that hot tag moment. But I got to go with the girls on their side to win, and I'm going to say Dakota Kai takes the pinfall or Kairi Sane.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm looking forward to this debut because they've really hyped me on Jade and what we're doing in the short amount of time that we've gotten to this feud and really bringing everybody together. But speaking of everybody together, we have a 6-team ladder match. We have the Judgment Day defending against DIY, Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne, Daytown Down Under, Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, The Awesome Truth, and The New Day. Wow. Like, I'm really as far as this ladder match goes, 6 teams in it, high octane aerial assault. We know everybody's going to get insane. We're going to see some crazy stuff. For me, I think this is the Judgment Day's end of their reign. And with the story that we've seen with R-Truth and the Judgment Day, if you want a feel-good moment, you put it on The Awesome Truth. That's my prediction. I'm going with that straight up and down like 6 o'clock. Who are you going with?
Okay, so Michael Cole stated that all the belt that both sets of titles are on the line.
Yes.
So I'm thinking this is the moment that they split them.
Okay.
Which is great because you have so many teams now to where you're able to do that. Triple H has literally made teams that are still, remember, we still got teams that aren't even involved yet. We still got teams that are still teams that aren't even featured on this ladder match, and they're not even featured on WrestleMania. Hell, they were only a couple of them were featured in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, which Bronson Reed won tonight. Anyways.
Yeah. Well, hold on. Wait a minute.
Okay.
I got to talk about this. Bronson Reed, congratulations, but I got scared to death, but thankfully he's okay. Ivar threw that boy Tozawa out, and that landing, dude.
Dude, he slammed into that fucking barricade. Dude, he hit it. He hit it hard. And yeah, I was Yeah, that was crazy. That was literally crazy. But I am glad that he's okay. I saw everything afterwards that he was a little out there, but he was doing okay tonight, so which was good. Actually, you know what? I actually have New Catch Republic winning the SmackDown ones, and
Okay.
I have Awesome Truth winning the Raw ones. I'm kind of leaning towards DIY instead of New Catch Republic because I would like to see those two teams. We got to see them once already to qualify for this,
Mhm.
but man, or just in a match in general. But this was just awesome. I loved it, and I wish we can get more of it.
For me, I'm in the same boat with you. We talk about Gray Minds thing and alike because Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne, again, since putting them back together, especially now as the New Catch Republic, it's pretty strong style. We've seen their tenure since their inception in 2017 with the UK tournament. DIY has been around forever. This is their first ever WrestleMania as a team. So with that even being built, like I would love to see that. But there's so many different ways to do it, but I'm in agreement with you, and I'm kind of leaning more in my way as well for DIY, SmackDown, Awesome Truth, Raw. But yeah, that one I'm really looking forward to just because every team it means something, and that's the best thing about professional wrestling when it means something and you have that full investment into it. Much like we have this one, it is the brother versus brother bout as Jimmy versus Jay, Yeet versus No Yeet, and well, everybody bitched when Jimmy cost him that title. And then Jay super kicked them, deuces, ooses. And you see that torn thing of Jay. He's like, man, I didn't want to do this. I miss you. Come back. And Jimmy's like, no, I'm going to be your older brother. You left me. You won the tag team titles with somebody else. They've really built this. We've seen Brett and Owen. We've seen Matt and Jeff. Now we're getting Jimmy and Jay. And with the hype that this is and with everything that's happened to him, I got to go with that boy, Jay Uso, yeet, to win.
Don't forget, man, we've actually had an Undertaker and King, which were fake brothers, but you
All
know,
right.
I,
All right.
we ain't going that route because we're talking about real brothers. Because
Yeah.
blood,
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 baby, blood.
blood, baby, blood. Okay, but I have to kind of talk about somebody because the thing is like so I think I've sent you their podcast. It's Chris Robinson and his wife Tony Robinson.
Yes.
Um, so they're really really cool. I love their take on this match. She's not really feeling it. She's not feeling it because she's just like, so what? They're brothers. They're having a match. And then he's trying to tell her, well, there have been matches before in the past at WrestleMania, but she's just like, yeah, but it has no meaning. But I beg to differ, young lady. Here's what's at stake. Jimmy and Jay are brothers on different sides of the bloodline. Same same bloodline, but just different sides and have different perspectives. Um, Jimmy has cost Jay twice an Intercontinental title and the World Heavyweight title.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy still has never gotten his revenge on him. So I think Jimmy wins by somebody interfering. I don't know who, but I still think Jimmy takes the win. But it also sets up something maybe later on tomorrow night, if not tonight, in the tag team match at the end of the night. So I can see it kind of rolling into that, and it kind of bringing other aspects to that end of the match,
Uh-huh.
especially if Rock and Roman win, which we'll get to that, and we end up with bloodline rules, and anything goes.
My thing is too with that one, I would love to see like a Jimmy J solo triple threat kind of deal with the brothers. I think that would be cool down the line. And we'll get to like the scenario you're talking about because I think that is something that's really like going into where we get to that match. It's going to be great to be bring up and to come to fruition. But yeah, I could definitely see Jimmy taking that win as far as cheating goes through chicanery and shenanigans. But I will get into that angle in a second. But Gunther and Sami Zayn, the Rocky story, Intercontinental Championship is on the line. I love the Rocky 3 comparison with him and Chad Gable. There is no tomorrow type of vibes to it. I've been enjoying this. I think this one is going to be really, really good. A sleeper, if you will. Gunther's been delivering. Sammy delivers. I don't see Gunther losing the Intercontinental Championship, though. I have to go with that boy Gunther, the ring general, to retain.
I don't see him losing it either. I just think as much as we do this, as much as Chad and Sammy are trying to do this whole Rocky 3, Rocky 2 scenario, Rocky in general, we'll just say Rocky taking Rocky isms.
The Rocky
If
franchise.
that if that's a thing, Rocky isms.
Isms.
um, and it's not. I'm not feeling it as much as I should because it's NXT Sammy. He went through that losing streak to end up getting a world title shot to end up winning the title. We've seen this before. So the one that we should see here, and I go back to the picture I had sent you before, which had Gable, not really his shoulders kind of pinned, and you get the referee that's out of place. I think this should be Chad Gable's moment. I really, really do. But if anything, it's Gunther going over. If it's Sammy, okay. But I just think it's Gunther. I think he continues.
Same, and I would love to see Chad Gable be the one to end it just because, like you mentioned, that the shoulders weren't down and getting the revenge for his daughter. I don't think Sammy is the guy, but I think to have a potential great match and a great story and the great underdog moment, that's Sammy right there. And speaking of the underdogs, who's not really an underdog, but we have Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch for the Women's Championship, the Women's World Championship. God dang it, man. I'm going to put it out there straight up and down like 6 o'clock, like I mentioned earlier. If Rhea Ripley does not win this, Becky does not need to win this. This is going to be a great match, but this is Rhea. She's a year as champion. Keep it on going. Becky does not need the win. Have Rhea do it like she did last year by beating Charlotte. This year she beats another 4 horsewomen. Let's go Rhea Ripley, Rhea Bloody Ripley, Mommy. Did I mention Mommy Mania? Rhea Ripley all day, every day. Go ahead, Paul.
Okay, Mommy Mania, yeah, we are here. My daughter, I love you. This is it. This is Rhea's moment. And Rhea's gonna go back to back, winning 2 WrestleManias in a row. You're right, Becky doesn't need it. I just want to see a great fluid match for them. And I love this story. Becky having to fight through adversity to get here, but she's just gonna fall short, a la John Cena, I guess, if you really want to look at it. Fall short, maybe come back next year, win another title. I don't know. I'm just kind of putting it out there, but Clash at the Castle's in June.
That it is, and then we'll be in Glasgow, Scotland, which is going to be great to see. At the Hydro, which is very ICW Insane Championship Wrestling-esque.
Yes.
A nice tie-in there.
And I think that's why Triple H picked it, is because it's very ICW. You know, he has that bond with them.
Yeah, with Mark Gallows, the owner. You're right.
Yeah, with Mark Gallows.
Ah, my goodness. But speaking of bond and just overall chemistry, here's some bonds here. We'll just go into it right here since it's the next one that you sent me. And we'll do it like this and like that and like this. And Seth and Cody, Rock and Roman. I think there's going to be a lot of greatness to this as far as Mama Rhodes and that story into it. Like you mentioned, we'll just hop right straight into it. Jimmy and Jay getting involved. Jimmy siding with Roman and The Rock. Jay siding and helping out Cody and Seth. I think if you want to really rise and really up the stakes and up the ante, so to speak, you have to have it be Bloodline rules the next night. So I'm going to go with Roman and The Rock to get that dub over Seth and Cody. Who you got?
I'm with you. I would like that adversity aspect to it. I would like that him overcoming it, and I will get to that night and all my answers to what I think will happen. But I think interesting enough, I think Roman pins Cody.
I like it, and then it sets up night 2 where he gets his win back. I like that.
And he gets his win back, and he'll probably rub it in his face, telling him, "I got 2 up on you." Or if it's The Rock, The Rock could also take the win for them, and Roman's kind of like, "Why did you do that?" Kind of. Or maybe if it's Roman taking the pin or giving the pin to Cody and kind of setting up that whole thing. But I kind of think there's going to be an angle where Seth gets really, really like a beatdown, and it might be from like Solo or something, and that'll be something that'll have to tie into the next night's match, which we are on our way to Night Deuce. Segue.
So we'll start with this one. I'm going to tell you right now, as a Karrion Kross fan, as someone who's seen his work in Impact Wrestling, AAA, Lucha Underground, the fact that he is finally getting a WrestleMania match and moment, I am so happy for Karrion Kross. They have found something with this character. Karrion Kross and the Authors of Pain, the Final Testament, great to see Authors of Pain on Mania as well, against Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits and a Philadelphia street fight. Let me put it to you like this. This is going to continue. I'm going to go with the Final Testament. Karrion Kross pins Bobby Lashley. There have been Easter eggs on the social media front on YouTube that we all know. I'm just saying what people are saying, that Montez Ford is the star. If that is going to be a tease for a Montez Ford heel turn down the line, I'm here for it. Let's go. But for this particular moment in Philly, I'm going with the Final Testament to get the win over Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits, the Pride. Who are you going with?
You know what? This is interesting. I honestly lost interest in the feud about 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
Then it hyped kind of back up. I liked how they started attacking them more, and everything for them for uh, I forgot who got in. Anyways, they cost them the match to get into the tag team titles.
Oh yeah, no,
AOP cost them.
Yeah, they beat down Bobby Lashley in the back, and they were Karrion and Scarlett were drinking the champagne.
Yeah, and it was something like that. Okay, so we'll go back to something that happened a few years ago before Karrion Kross got released.
Okay.
After he left NXT, he got under under Vince McMahon's thumb, and Vince McMahon fucked him up.
Oh, very badly.
And he fucked up that character bad. And I mean literally destroyed him. He didn't like it, he didn't care for it. But it's like, why did you ask him to come up if you wanted him on the main roster only to fuck him up? Only to mess up the character in general. Because he was great. He was doing great in NXT. He had a lot of fire, had a lot of fuel going, he had a lot of energy down there. Like he looked like he loved what he was doing in NXT. Got the call up, ended up in a gimp outfit, looking in a red gimp outfit, and looking like he was about ready to beat everybody with a long ass dildo.
You mentioned it. It's like Eurotrip when friggin' Cooper's about to get the Flugenheim. That's what it is. That's what Karrion Kross looked like.
Yeah, that's what Karrion Kross did. I think that this is a great transition for his character. I think that I understand that a lot of people aren't feeling it, and I think that you have to give it time because of everything, the damage that Vince had did to his character, that Triple H had started in NXT. He's barely getting it back because I think this is the idea that Triple H had for his character before he was moved up to the main roster.
And I think since he came back in 2022 and started the feud with Drew and really started working with the top guys like AJ Styles, Triple H saw that vision. And it's like, okay, let's see what works and what doesn't work. And this works. And especially when you have a legend like Paul Ellering with them, again, that's right here. It's the cohesion. It's the synergy. And I'm just really looking forward to this. Like, this has something written all over. And Bobby Lashley and Karrion Kross, that dynamic is always a great interest of me too. So yeah. And speaking of interest, LA Knight and AJ Styles, we saw earlier today at the World at the meet and greets, like him and AJ brawled. AJ got a bloody nose for his troubles. The cops were at his house. He got him at his house. Yeah. He attacked him in disguise.
Yeah.
But dude, they have heightened this for me. I think this is LA Knight's moment. This is his first WrestleMania. AJ Styles does not need the win. As like I said, he's already made for what he is and who he is, and he looks in tremendous shape. But for me, I got to go with everything that he's been through and everything that's been going on with him. I think we're going to get that breakout moment for LA Knight. Yeah. So LA Knight over AJ. Who you going with?
This is very much TNA 2010, 2011. Before AJ signed with WWE. This is very much that, and they had a lot of heat there too. They didn't like each other, and I'd have to say this is long-term storytelling. If that's the case, then this is long-term storytelling, and I love it. I got LA Knight. I don't need to go any more detail. I just want to see a great match from them too.
Same. And I think, again, when the lights are on, I mean, AJ Styles' WrestleMania debut was against Jericho in 2016. And as he even said that night, it's like, I may have not have won, but I really did win because, again, he put on a great match. And that's AJ Styles. That's the phenomenal AJ Styles. And that is the moment maker. That is LA Knight. And speaking of more moments, his WrestleMania is back with Logan Paul, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens triple threat match for the United States Championship. Logan Paul has made many moments in his short tenure in WWE. United States champion, he has history of both men, costing Randy at the Elimination Chamber, the DQ at the Royal Rumble. I've been enjoying the storytelling with this. Randy and Kevin Owens have not touched until we get to WrestleMania. There's part of me that thinks Kevin Owens is finally going to get the title and get his revenge on Logan Paul. But then there's the other part of me that says Logan Paul pins Randy Orton, and then Kevin Owens goes, hey, man, you may have won, but you've still never beaten me. I didn't get pinned. I won another shot, and then KO takes it right after WrestleMania. But in this particular moment, I go with the scenario of Logan pinning Randy and KO saying, hey, you didn't pin me. Let's run it back. So I'm going to go Logan Paul through cheating in the brass knucks. Who are you going with?
Yeah, I got Logan winning. I think he wants to take it into UFC 300.
Mm-hmm.
And that's funny because this idiot wants to fight in UFC 300.
Right?
Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why he wants to get in that ring.
Yep.
But hey, to each their own. I got Logan winning. I think, like you, Randy's taking the pin, and Kevin at some point, maybe Backlash, maybe Money in the Bank. I would say Money in the Bank, probably closer. Would be my choice for him to take it off of him. If not, maybe SummerSlam. That would be kind of way out there, but
yeah, I mean, but it's a nice film, and Logan is just that guy, that smarmy, sneaky heel. Like, it fits, and he gets eyes on the product. Say what you will about his character and his demeanor, but the guy's a businessman. He gets his eyes on the product, especially with that Prime energy drink of his. And speaking of energy and eyes on the product, let's get our eyes on this matchup. It is Io Sky and Bayley for the SmackDown Women's Championship. I got to put this out here, man. Whew! Io and Bayley, the fact that they brawled when she was at the performance center getting interviewed, they knocked down the screen. They knocked down everything from their projection, from the screens, from everything in that interview setup. I like the fact of how we told the story of very much Triple H and Batista. Bayley overheard it, chose Io, broke up the group. Why'd you do it? I think in this particular moment, if you really want her to shine, and if it's the perfect foil here, I say Bayley gets the win and beats Io for that women's championship, gets that epic revenge for everything that she's been through. And let's just go with it. I want to see Bayley as a champion, my personal opinion. Who you going, Io or Bayley?
I am taking Big Booty Bayley because I love the woman so damn much. And you're going to have to find that picture of her at the Hall of Fame because my God, that dress was gorgeous on her. I wasn't drooling, by the way. Here's what I love about this is rest in peace, Kevin Dunn, because your career in WWE is no longer there anymore. The reason why I say this is because we are getting so many different backstage videos, movies, kind of like all these different video packages for all these people, and it's so refreshing than having Kevin Dunn's little bullshit that he used to do. The transitions from wrestlers walking to the back, then the other wrestlers coming out to their music is perfect. Very, very, very oh my God, very serendipitous is very what I was trying to look at because it's so beautiful. It's a great transition. This, I believe Bayley gets her revenge, and Bayley finally gets her WrestleMania moment.
I mean, mind you, I will say this as far as WrestleMania moments goes. Yes, she got to defend it in 2017. Yes, she got to be in there with Sasha. But if you want to get the definitive moment, you win the championship. And that's what I think, as you called her, Big Booty Bayley does. And yes, I will be putting that in there because, folks, that dress, and this will be the cut right here to it, that Hall of Fame dress that she wore, man, that is a beautiful girl, man. That is curvaceous ass bodacious.
Can I get Izzy Moreno to come out with her and her Bayley freaking her huggers freaking floppy things, man? I would be so epic. Shout out to fucking Izzy Moreno. Dude, you guys got to see her wrestle, man. She is Bailey 2.0. And I
Absolutely.
love her because she said point blank, she even has the picture on her IG how she met Bailey, and that was her biggest influence, and she loved Bailey so much. And I would really like to see the Bailey buddies back at WrestleMania. I honestly would.
The same, and go back to like for one night being the hugger, but now you see you got me feeling the nostalgia feels, if you will. But yes, no, Bailey, it's right in the feels, man. It's Bailey
Right.
for me all day, every day. And speaking of getting you in the fields, if what you saw on Raw did not get you into the fields, let me say this about getting in the fields. I'm not dead yet. Yet. Like the Drew McIntyre funeral of like, this is the end of CM Punk's career. This is the end of your title reign. That promo from Raw was awesome. Go back and watch it. Seth and Drew. Drew,
That was one of my favorite moments of fucking Raw, literally, because Drew, this character of Drew is phenomenal. This is by far better than anything he has ever done. I'm glad Triple H has let him just go and be Drew. Let Drew just draw out all of who he is, and this this is going to be the culmination. Drew needs this because back to 2020 when we had WrestleMania, we didn't have fans. Drew killed it against Brock Lesnar, and no one saw it live.
right.
So give this man his flowers, give this man what he's due, give this man that title.
I think the added edge of also having him on commentary, that being CM Punk, the influx of what you can do there. For me, the story is Drew and Punk for me for the title. That is the story for me, and that's something I want to see. And like you mentioned, like he beat Brock Lesnar. Nobody was in attendance. It was an empty performance center. Now we're in 2024. Let Drew, as you put it, get his flowers, beat Seth, win that title. It's the right time. Like he is.
Hold on. Before we exit this one,
Yeah, go ahead.
so Chris Robinson, I will mention him again because I hope I'm gonna tag him in this when I do my retweet. Here's the thing. He said he thinks Damian Priest should cash in. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
He thinks that Seth Rollins should win. He thinks, no. I think he said Damian or Drew should win, but Damian should cash in on Drew because he is still in the belief that Judgment Day are going to lose all their titles on night one, and Damian needs to assert himself as the dominant one in the Judgment Day. So he's going to come out and try and win that title. I just think that this is just going to be a great match. I think Drew is going to beat him. No cash in whatsoever.
I like your
Maybe
point.
the next night as an attempt, but he may not fall through. We still got a backlash in France, so
Here's my thing, and I like your point. What Chris said too, and we'll tag him in this in the retweet. But here's my thing. I like the fact that they have the history with Judgment Day. Does Drew with Rhea? We saw that. I think in this as well. You know, Damian's going to cash in. I don't think it'll be here. I really don't, because I don't think it's needed. I think with what we got with Punk and everything, it's not needed. I could see it maybe next month, but the thing with Damian Priest is I don't see him being like one that loses, like a Damian Sandow did or an Austin Theory. I think it's just like he's going to try, but it doesn't work. And I think not doing it WrestleMania, holding it off, I think is the best possible way to do it. But
I think it would. I think one of the things he pointed out too was that we are on that almost the 10-year anniversary of when Seth did it.
Yes.
So it could be a possibility where Seth wins, Drew cashes in, or Damian cashes in on Seth. And Seth is the one of the heist of the century because Damian came in and took it from him. But that is just a scenario, and I get it. We're as fans, we just love to see these things happen. I just don't think it's time for Damian to do it because he can still be the one in the Judgment Day who still has an opportunity at a title. Not to say that Rhea couldn't get it, not to say that he and Finn couldn't, go after the tag team title, the Raw tag team titles, which I think we're going to get a new set of titles. I honestly think we're going to get the world titles again back to 20. 10.
Yes.
World titles, the world titles there, and the WWE tag team titles on SmackDown, or vice versa, whichever ones are which. But we're gonna get a swap of titles out and get new titles. So
It's going to be like '02 when Stephanie introduced the WWE Tag Team Championships for SmackDown, and we had the World Tag Team titles on Raw. Yeah.
God, please, 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 for the love of God, please take those damn fucking helmets off of the damn belts, please, for Christ's sakes. Give me vintage. Give me a vintage look to both of them. That's all I'm asking.
Fair enough, sir. Now, after Seth and Drew, we're here. We're at the main event. Will he finish the story? It is Roman Reigns. It is Cody Rhodes. Yes, he's going to finish the story. Yes, there's going to be interference. Yes, it's going to be an amazing match. It is the time for the Cody era. The adrenaline is in his soul. Let's go, Cody Rhodes. Let's go. I'm going Cody Rhodes.
I am going to say this, and I am going to say this with all respect
Okay.
to Paul Levesque.
Okay.
If you do not have Cody win, we are done with Cody Rhodes as a character, as a main event character.
It's kaput.
You are literally killing him 2 years in a row just to appease Roman Reigns on passing Hulk Hogan. He doesn't need it.
Mm-mm.
It's just like CM Punk didn't need to surpass Hulk Hogan. It is like Gunther didn't need. Gunther did need to pass Honky Tonk Man. I mean,
God,
because
yeah.
he made it relevant.
Yeah.
But Jimmy and Jay, surpassing the New Day, that was great as the longest reigning tag team champions of all time. Now we can go through this whole list of how, where everybody falls on the list, and we'll say Roman Reigns is one of the greatest. He is not the greatest. I love Paul Heyman, I really, really do, but sorry, Roman Reigns is not the greatest. You can't defend the title fucking 5 times a year and call yourself the greatest.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. It was in his contract. He decided to take a light contract, back to corporate stooge. But if Cody doesn't win, people are just not going to be invested in him any longer.
That's the thing. Like, we have the Paul Levesque era, as we call it. Paul Levesque does not seem like the guy that would have Cody lose it 2 times in a row. I think he knows where the plan is. I think he knows this is where we have to go. And it's cinema. It writes itself. Cody is white hot. It goes kaput if he loses it again. So let's have Cody finally get the win, and then Roman could take some time off, do what he does, and let the Cody era begin. I'm here for it, man.
Yeah, that's all I want. Let him take his time off. Let us get Roman The Rock into this, and let him get a little bit into this. And we don't really know. We don't really know what's going to happen as far as like after WrestleMania. I know that we may end up getting The Rock at some point in time against Cody, and we may get cut promos. But they may take some time off. I know Rock has another movie that he has coming up in maybe I think another month or so. So we know he's going to take time off for that. We know Reigns is going to take off the time for that. But so we may actually get a Damian Priest feud. We don't know, but it would be great to see something different for Cody and to face somebody else other than having to fight the Bloodline.
Agreed, and that is your.
And please, God forbid it being Solo. Please stop.
No, don't. And I love Solo, but no. But I think this WrestleMania, I'm very excited. I'm pumped. This is another WrestleMania I'm looking forward to, and everybody's looking forward to it. Just take it all in and enjoy it. Speaking of something to enjoy, a couple final things, and 2 of them you sent me. This one I wanted to bring up as we were typing towards the end of the card here, but something happened today. Obviously, Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor ended. Mark Briscoe won the championship, which congratulations, finally doing it for Jay. But there wouldn't be Tony Khan without there being some controversy. And as they say, controversy creates cash, but this particular one. So Tony Khan was asked on the Ring of Honor media call about the boys getting released. And the boys said it was budget cuts. Tony said they no-showed well. The boys said, all right, that's fine. All right, you want it to be like that? It's going to be like this. So the boys, this is from Brandon Tate of the Twins, and then we'll go down to these last bit of screenshots. But are you ready to hear about this? Because this was the big topic of today, Mr. Paul Morales.
Yeah, man, let's go.
Alrighty, so this has to be addressed. This is from the boys. We had planned to stay quiet publicly about our release to take nothing away from the biggest show of the year for Ring of Honor and Supercard tonight out of respect to the locker room that will be on it due to Tony's comments and the numerous fans, media outlets, friends, and coworkers that have reached out to us. This isn't an option for us anymore. We want to apologize to the Ring of Honor fans and to the AEW fans that were invested in the storyline, and we're expecting the both of us to be there. With so many fans wanting answers, in addition to numerous people that have voiced their comments at the thought of us really just no-showing on the some of the biggest opportunities of our lives due to Tony Khan's statements, here it is. My brother and I were told that we would be included in this story through Supercard, and there were plans for us to be with John and Taya leading up to the show. We were asked to pitch several ideas for ourselves, insinuating we would get the opportunity to show that we can wrestle more in the future. On March 16th, our scheduled date following Dalton losing custody for the first time in our history of flying in North America, previously with Sinclair Ring of Honor, and now Tony Khan's Ring of Honor, our travel was booked out of Nashville instead of our home airport of Knoxville. The screenshots of this interaction with management and the travel, including the times, are in the comments. On Monday, April 1st, we were contacted by management accompanied by HR on a call to inform us of our release due to budget cuts. At that time, we raised concerns, repeatedly questioned if the release was due to the travel issues, where we were repeatedly and adamantly assured that this was not the case and based solely on budget cuts. Since Tony's statement, we reached out yesterday providing the specific details, asking for Tony to clear this up. We have gotten no response. Unfortunately, in the court or public opinion for a lot of people commenting, it's assumed that we're guilty from one man's words until we now have to prove we are not. We're now forced to release this info along with the screenshot proof to keep people from putting us down on social media or on this evening's show. We understand that putting this out is detrimental to our careers, but our back is against the wall on this, and it is it was either this or let Tony Khan go on saying we no-showed. We want to thank each and every fan who has reached out and made your voices heard, as well as the locker room members who have reached out that know the truth as well. We hope you all still enjoy the show this evening for the sake of the wrestlers putting on their best, and appreciate how much we've seen that people really care about two boys who were always considered replaceable. And now we go to the screenshots right under this, and this was put out public. So as you can see here, this is from Brent Tate, and here is the no subject matter in the email. Hey, we're getting texts from people asking if we're at the venue. We told travel as soon as you told us to fix our flights, and she said she would send us new flights. We stayed up until midnight Thursday and still haven't received anything. Brandon and I both have had our bags packed since Wednesday. And it continues. Here's the max test. Okay, guys, I just got off the phone with travel. My understanding is that because Ottawa is a difficult airport to get in and out of, they tried to save $800 per ticket by having you go out of Nashville. I see your point about being asked to drive 3 hours to a different airport, but did anyone hold on, let me see if but did anyone specify, said she would send us flight to shortly? I didn't hear from her, so I texted from my phone about seats and didn't get a text back. I also emailed her on Sunday or Monday about hotels and seats for the flight and didn't get an email back. And this just goes back to this. You know, the flights from Knoxville were 2 stops and more expensive, which is why they tried Nashville for this trip. You guys should have at least said someone, no, you would blah, blah, blah. And Brent writes, we did tell such and such that we couldn't do that flight. That's why she responded and told us she would send us other flight options that we were waiting for. And that pretty much gives us to just checking to see if we were booked this weekend, if you heard anything about us being booked this weekend. And that's pretty much the tail end of it. So there was a miscommunication. There was flight and travel issues. Tony Khan said they no-showed. The boys said it was due to budget cuts. It's a whole shebang, man. So what are your thoughts on this whole situation with Tony Khan and the boys?
I don't care that you sent out Edge, Adam Copeland on Wednesday to talk about, things that he didn't need to talk about. I honestly think he didn't even need to. It didn't need to be addressed at all. Period. Leave it alone. If you feel that CM Punk was in the wrong for saying what he say, then let him say what he's going to say. Why did they feel like they needed to have a response? Because Tony Khan felt the need that he needed to respond. So instead of him going out and doing it, he got Adam Copeland to go out there and do it, which is fine. Whatever.
Yeah, he said go out there, Adam. And then Dax did it at the end of Collision too.
It was whatever. It didn't matter to me. I mean, the boys, they're probably going to end up somewhere, but I doubt it. If they go to like TNA or they end up in somewhere else, hell, they can come to NXT. I'm pretty sure. If they're willing to work their asses off, like Triple H said, you know, if you're coming here, and when you want a lighter schedule, go there. You could be all in over there, but if not, then whatever. But no, my thing is like TK didn't need to do this. TK didn't even need to say anything. None of this needed to be addressed on their end. Just leave it as it was.
Right.
Even the fucking Young Bucks who said, "Well, scapegoat, we love your work." What the hell kind of bullshit is that? Why do you even need to acknowledge it?
Well,
Leave it alone.
to quote what CM Punk said on the thing, and you brought up a great point with Ariel Helwani, like, bro, like they have an indie mindset. When he said at the Brawl Out, these guys think that they're in fucking Reseda, which Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, very popular. You're a Cali boy. Pro Wrestling Guerrilla is a great professional wrestling promotion. It's been acknowledged. It's been said on WWE programming for being the stomping grounds and where Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn got their start.
Yeah, PWG.
Yeah. But what type of professional wrestling organization is PWG? It's an indie. There's a lot of guys out there that still have that indie mindset. That is succumbed, and it's also encompassed with the AEW locker room because a lot of them still think like they're still in the fucking indies. I mean,
Yeah, my point is, just to wrap that up,
Yeah.
it's in general, nothing needed to be said. I mean, if you want to do it off camera, offset, whatever, fine. Acknowledge it then. But Tony didn't need to send out Adam. He didn't need to have the Young Bucks come out on live TV to say something. And FTR did the right thing. It was after fucking Collision. I'll give him that one. But it's a mentality. It's a mentality in a company. And yeah, you want to have an indie company? Fine, have an indie company. But you have to understand is that now you're a major promotion because you're getting that there. Things have changed. It's good that he got some people from WWE there that'll at least help him, but in the long run, in the long term, for them, they just need to keep their mouth shut and do what they need to do because they have a really good rapport with New Japan that they don't want to fuck up. They have a really good rapport with CMLL that they don't want to fuck up. Just leave it alone. It's plain and simple. Stop trying to be a kid and just leave it alone.
I look at it like this. CM Punk said what he needed to say. Cody Rhodes said what he said on Ariel Helwani. These guys, again, it didn't need to be said. I agree wholeheartedly with you, but Tony Khan can't help himself. He has that impulse, like we saw on Twitter. Sammy Guevara did the whole thank you AEW. Same with guys like, Daddy Mac. I feel like crisscross. Daddy Magic and all these talents. It's just too much of this. It's pretty much, it's like Dana Carvey and the Master of Disguise. This is what you're doing. This is what I want you to do. It's pretty much.
Yeah, it's just a lot of it. It's just easier just to not acknowledge it and just be like, I'm done.
Whatever. Now,
do you? Plain and simple.
Now, speaking of our final two things that we're going to talk about, so
you're welcome for that one.
Yeah, thank you. I know. I'm gonna put it because I'm laughing. The fact that Pat McAfee said that Dominic, if you better watch out because then if you're not with mommy, you're gonna go to the company where there's only 600 people in attendance. Jesus Christ, we'll talk about that first. Your thoughts on Pat McAfee just savagely just taking that dagger right to AEW on the Pat McAfee show?
It was a good shot, and he was right because a lot of people don't want to come to WWE and don't want to work the schedule. And I get it. He's not working any other schedule. He wants a lighter schedule. That's pretty much what Roman Reigns is doing. He's taking a lighter schedule. Work when he wants to work.
Alrighty, and speaking of working, we will go to Triple H take shots at Will Ospreay joining AEW. Here we go. And once again, thank you, Paul Morales, for sending this. Like I said, it's the teamwork that makes the dream work, and I love you. And that's why we're up at like friggin' 2:30 in the morning. I'm here for you. And at even 3 a.m. in the morning, Mr. Paul Morales. And you know what happens at 3 a.m.? 3 a.m. I must be lonely. Matchbox 20. There's my another.
Yes, I know.
All right. Let's get into Triple H take shots at Will Ospreay joining AEW. Let's go.
It's a different world. If they're not here to be all in on this, like when I see people that come out of, trying to make it, and then they pick the job where they go, well, they work less, the schedule's lighter. All right, then I'm glad I didn't get you. Different game, it's a different world.
And
If
he's right, because look at what Cody did. Cody had a lighter schedule, but he knew what he needed to do when he came back to WWE. He knew that it was going to be a stressful schedule. We saw him over the winter break, and they had that end of winter thing out here in LA, and they were doing the tour in New York and Dallas and here in LA, and I think they did it across the border, but still they did it. They had a good time, and he was working his matches. So if you need time off, Triple H will give you the time off, but they know that you have to work and put in work for the company. It doesn't make any sense to me. But if you want to go for a lighter schedule, hey, by all means necessary, go for a lighter schedule.
I agree with the fact that, people will say what they will about Will Ospreay. Triple H, first of all, when people are like, oh, Triple H must be kicking himself. Triple H has so many talents that he can develop in NXT and bring up.
And he
has. And he ain't sweating it. But also at the same time, if Will Ospreay felt for his family and his travel that AEW was the place for him, good for him, because he's just going to flourish in AEW. People don't. Again, another thing.
Same thing with Okada. Okada wanted a lighter schedule. Hey, you know what? Hey, all the power to you. But I understand because his family is back in Japan. So if he wants to do that, hey, all the power to him.
Right.
Anybody. Mercedes Moné, you want a lighter schedule? Fine. You want to get paid? You're going to get paid to do the lighter work. Don't bitch. I don't need people bitching and complaining, saying that, well, she's out here taking money from other people. Well, you could have done the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm. It's a business, folks. It's a business. And speaking of business, here's some funny piece of business to close out the show here. I saw this. I'm glad you sent it to me, because I cracked up even when you sent it to me, and I cracked up seeing the clip. This is The Rock at the World, and a little girl owns The Rock. So let's take a look at this piece of business right here.
So, are you a Cody Rhodes fan? Yes?
Yes, Cody fan, right here.
Great question. So what made The Rock think that the title shot was his to begin with? Very easy. A few things. Number one, The Rock is the great one. Number two, The Rock, the most electrifying man that the world has ever seen. Number three, The Rock is the final boss. Which means he comes in whenever he wants, does whatever he wants, says whatever he wants, and if you're shaking your head, you don't agree? No? What's that?
You didn't win the Royal Rumble, Cody did.
Oh!
I love fucking Michael Cole in the back, and he's dying.
So
hey, you got to admit the little girl actually got him, and it was funny. It was good. It was good for the soul. It was good to humble him a little bit, but it was really, really good.
It was, but that's the beauty of fan interaction, just The Rock being that final boss, that heel that you just love to hate. And that's what we all love and got into professional wrestling, for the characters and the larger than life personas. But yeah, no, that made me laugh. But yeah, that's stuff that really gets you into really feeling what we got with this Mania weekend. And as we're recording, like I mentioned, it's almost 3 a.m. my time, which is midnight Paul Morales' time. We got Stand and Deliver in the morning, and we got night one of WrestleMania. So thank you guys for tuning into another edition of the Weekly Review at late night. I'm staying up with you, man. I'm staying up with you. I'm happy to see you, and I'm glad that we got to do this. And next week we'll be back. Next weekend is my birthday weekend, April 13th. Your boy turns 32. Oh my goodness. Yup. Birthday, baby.
I'll be sending Robert Davis, Amir, and Moses will be sending you them midget hookers. Don't worry. If you knock on the door and you look through the peephole and you don't see them, just know that they're there.
I trust you. All
right, man.
Thank you. But no, thank you, man.
You're gonna have to give your mom that sedative, so make sure so while you can go out there. Get your party on, man. Get your backyard on.
Take it back now, y'all. Yes, but next week, birthday weekend, and I will be recording with you. We'll be back to talk the fallout for WrestleMania and everything in between. And before we close this out, Paul Morales, where can we follow you on Twitter, Instagram, the whole nine? The floor is yours, my brother.
Twitter, Instagram, or Twitter, X, gonna give it to you. Deadman RWT, YouTube. It's also on TikTok too. All the same name. Don't worry about it. It's all the same. You can find me there. You can find me on the RWT Facebook page, Raw Wrestling Talk. Every week, every day, every hour, we all post a bunch of stuff. Mr. Michael Larkin is going to post a link down in below. And of course, oh yeah, you can find him there too. He's there too. Max Wrestling, my boy Moses Marquez, Captain Dazzy, all the boys over there at fucking Max Wrestling. This dunderhead over here is there too. I'm there every once in a while, but you know, our RWT is where you can find me. Mr. Michael Larkin, floor is yours.
So I will also be putting the RWT and Max Wrestling Facebook pages and websites in the links below. And you can check me out at SM Show 1 or MCL92 on the Twitter machine. The Instagram, MLarkinMB or Larkin_92. Subscribe to the YouTube, Mike Larkin92. And, well, we are over 800 subscribers. Let's keep getting them up. Let's get to 1K by the end of the year. And we appreciate everyone's support. We got the weekly review. We got Deep Into the Heart of Wrestling with my boy Robert Davis and Nicola McDonald. We got Daniel Crimmins and I doing Uncaged. We got my boy Steve and I doing the Steve and Mike Show. They're Shooting the Breeze. There's the Pop Culture History Podcast. There's a lot of great content on it, as well as the Lingerie Fighting Championships Podcast, Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, which you can also check out on lfcfights.com. Links will be in the description. Subscribe, check us out, check out Paul Morales and the Thing Thangs that he does, and check out the things that I Think Thang do. We appreciate you. We love you. And we will see you next week for another edition of the Weekly Review. For Paul Morales, my name is Mike Larkin. Thank you for listening. And, well, X going to give it to you. And?
X going to give it to you. Oh, yeah. And fuck you, Moses Marquez. I love you, my brother.
Later.